and he was like, was it like individuals for them, and he was throwing to guys?
No, me and him were just talking, and we went into the cage and started goofing around.
Okay.
And so he was throwing to me, and this is actually like, so we did something that I really liked, which is to your point earlier. Is he just like, I think you should, if your guys can handle it, you should just start off with this of hit everything BP and it's mixed. So all he was doing was mixing, and I had no idea which pitch was coming. And my whole goal was just to try to be as connected as possible or in the moment as possible.
To the ball.
Yep. To him in the ball, and just barrel it. I was just trying to warm up by like, so, did you see Rafe Kelly? Did I share Rafe Kelly's work with you at all?
Maybe.
He spoke at the Sport Movement Skill Conference this year. But anyways, I went to his retreat this past weekend, and his whole thing was on parkour, martial arts, natural movement, all that sort of stuff. And so some of the activities we did were just to just warm up the body to move and to try to be more perceptually in tune with your environment. And so like something as simple as like, okay, we're going to move. I'm going to fix my eyes on a specific target, and I'm not going to take my eyes off of that target, and I'm just going to move in as many different ways and explore. And so like, I just kind of, to me, it's like taking that concept, except now we're just actually hitting, and this is a warm up. I'm not trying to move fast. I'm not trying to like crush the ball as hard as I can. I'm literally just trying to hit the ball. Every single pitch that is thrown, my goal is to try to hit it.
Yep.
And I think that's a great warm up.
That's it, exactly what you just said. That is a staple in any programming that I have control over to be able to run. Anything that I have the control over, like I do, and I call them, and I think Chad calls them the same thing. No takes rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So you literally don't get to take. And I try to do them as often as I possibly can. I don't know that I always do the best job of explaining the reasoning behind it. That is an area that I can improve in, because it takes like, that is so very different from what hitters expect and what people expect in this game. It's actually the opposite.
Yes, right. I mean, it's more
the opposite of what they're taught, right? Even
yes.
in batting practice, they're taught, don't swing at that in BP. That's 2 inches off the plate. Like, so you're never going to swing at a pitch that's 2 inches off the plate in a game? Like, come on, dude. But it's so anti, what they're taught these days. So it takes a lot to get buy-in with that. But I think that is, it might quite possibly be the best hitting exercise that I like to do, and could potentially have the most amount of benefit to any hitter at any level if you can get the buy-in and get them to actually fully commit to trying to get something out of it.
I mean, in some ways, I don't know if I would go that far. I look at it as a warm-up. For me, it's a warm-up. It's something that gets you perceptually attuned. I think it gets you, to your point, exploring. I like it a lot. I just don't, because I think really where you have to go with this, and this is what I see a lot, though, with a lot of other people, like they'll do some things that are ecological, but to me, you have to take it all the way in terms of representativeness. I mean, that's where you kind of go with the ecological approach, is like, okay, where are you on the continuum of representativeness? And to me, like, the hit everything round is not that representative. I mean, there's elements.
It could be.
Right, well, it could be, but
I think it could be.
But it's not. It's one slice of the game, and I've been thinking about this, and this came up in the conversation I was having today about like the martial arts stuff, and because martial arts has just this panacea of like different things. And so in a way you're looking to see, okay, I have you heard of the book, Make It Stick by Peter Brown? It's about learning. Yeah. So in it, he talks about this idea and concept of interleaving. And so to me, what I want to do is I want to interleave a bunch of different types of scenarios, skills, whatever. So for example, like a hit everything round. I might start there, and then I might transition to like a, 2-strike round, or maybe a transition to runner on third round, less than 2 outs, get them in. Like we're gonna start here, and then we're gonna go over here, and then we might come back to hit everything round again. But maybe I'm watching the player and I'm like, you're gonna do hit everything round, and then you're gonna work 2-strike round or something, or whatever. So I might mix it up based upon what you see the player needing. But that's how I would approach it.
It can be hugely beneficial in the example that you just gave to provide a context where this exercise that we're doing to start off, there could be some potential crossover where you can utilize the skills that you're developing in the hit everything round or the no takes round.
Yes.
Here is a context where you could potentially use those skills. Now let's do this. And then that helps them make the connection better, because it's like, okay, this is why we do this. Because then it's the situation that they might actually be able to deploy that skill.
So the perfect example is you go from hit everything round to a hit and run round.
Yeah.
I mean, and
which is basically the same thing, right?
It is, but it isn't. Like, let's say I actually put a runner on, and then we actually put fielders out there. And now I actually have you, because to me, I like the idea, and we've probably talked about this before, whether it's legend or not. It's something that I think if someone actually did it, then we should try and see if we can recreate it of, well, if the fielders are in motion on a hit and run, do you have the ability to, or what does the pitch afford you? Because now that the fielders are moving, does that pitch afford you put it in the hole? Does it afford you putting it in a different hole and hitting it in a different spot where you would traditionally hit it? And so that's to me is where you make it more specific and then see what they can do with it. Because yes, it's the same, but it's not the same, because once you start putting in different pieces into that equation and into that task, it's going to change the behavior.
Well, because it changes your attentional focus, and it changes different variables, which are going to alter what you're trying to do and what your intentions are as a result of what you, as you alluded to, what you're perceiving in the moment, which is going to change that. Also, whatever instructions you're given by the coach, whatever instructions you're given by the person that is instructing you or developing you or has expectations of you in that moment. Like, for example, on a hit and run, most coaches want the ball where? On the ground. I'm not necessarily one of them. I'm not that rigid on that, but a lot of coaches, it's like, whatever you got to do, you hit everything and it better be on the ground. You hit the top part of the ball and make sure it's on the ground. Those are obvious constraints with what guys are trying to do, which that changes it from a no takes round to okay, yeah, I don't get to take, and I'm supposed to be doing this, and this is what I'm seeing from the defense, which may or may not change what I'm trying to do. Those are a lot of constraints, and those are a lot of different things to try to be like grappling with, while at the same time being in the moment and being like focused on the ball and like having that be your primary focus of what you're trying to accomplish. So yeah, that obviously adds a lot of variables, which could then potentially change your behavior as a result of all those constraints, whether it be environmental, psychological, the expectations that are associated with that as well. Those are all things to consider that are obvious, very, very different factors from the ones that you're going to get from just okay, let's not take anything and let's just hit everything that we see. It does make it more complex for sure, without a doubt.
Well, and two, if you actually have runners out there and you have a catcher and a pitcher, like, how often is it said, well, you swing at everything when you're on a hit and run? And it's like, let's just think about that.
You
really?
Don't.
Everything?
You actually don't. Yeah.
Right?
If it's like way over your head, or if it bounces 3 feet in front of the plate, you probably shouldn't be swinging at it.
I mean, if the catcher can't make a throw on that ball that's being thrown to you and it's not a strike, then take the darn thing. Like, there's no reason. Yep, what's the point of taking a strike there on a pitch that doesn't deserve to be called a strike? And you have all you did was hurt yourself. It had zero benefit.
You could have a runner on. You could have a runner on second without having to give yourself up.
Yeah,
and still have a chance to drive him in. Yeah.
And that's what I think, though. You like by doing that and doing it live with the runner and stuff is like they begin to and a catcher, because the catcher can then start to see like, can I get this guy out on this ball? I mean, because if you have as a hitter, you need to have some sense of what the catcher's capabilities are so that it can tell you what pitches you should swing or not swing at. Because we're going to be, as coaches, mad if you take a pitch on a hit and run that gets the runner thrown out on. You know, like, yeah, but it bounced. Yeah, but it bounced right into his glove. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. You still got to swing at that one. You got to protect the runner. So to me, that explains why you should have these different pieces involved in your practice activity.